94.3 The Dude is very grateful to our men and women in uniform. We're proud to recognize local members of our military by turning the spotlight on them right now in our Soldier Salute.
Welcome to the Soldier Salute. I'm Ethan James, and today we're going to be talking to retired U.S. Army Sergeant First Class, recipient of 3 Purple Hearts, and Vietnam War veteran Jim Huffman. Jim, thanks so much for calling in. Thanks so much for your service. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
From Columbia, South Carolina. On Lake Murray right now. I live up on Lake Murray. Went to high school here. I graduated from high school out in Eau Claire. And after I graduated, that was during the draft. I got drafted to Fort Jackson for my basic training. And from Fort Jackson, they sent me straight to Fort Ord, California for my AIT. And when I finished AIT, we graduated. They shipped us out. And then they sent us up to Travis Air Force Base and shipped us out. We got up there on the 24th of December. And we flew out somewhere around 11 o'clock that night and crossed the international date line, so I went into the 26th. So we missed Christmas Day that year.
From the time that you got drafted to the time that you were on a plane going overseas, how long of a time frame was that?
Well, that was from August to December.
Wow, that's
very quick. I went in the Army on August the 5th, and I went to Vietnam on December the 24th.
Jim, 5 months after you were drafted, you were already on a plane to Vietnam. Only 5 months. What was that time like, and was it a scary, scary time?
Yes, because what was so difficult about it is I'm an old local hometown, but the first I'd ever been was Myrtle Beach. I'd never been out of the state. It picked me up from South Carolina and shipped me straight to Vietnam. And however many weeks it was, 8, 16, 20 weeks, I was in Vietnam.
Wow.
And I went from being a little snotty-nosed young boy to a grown-up man in that period of time. Back then, we didn't have anybody, when we were going through training, we didn't have anyone that had the experience from Vietnam
right.
to really tell us what was going on. So nobody, the DIs, drill instructors, they could not really explain to us what we were going into, except it was dangerous, and that was it. You know, we didn't really know what we would look to. And when I got straight to Vietnam, they took us to Camp Alpha, handed us a weapon, and in 2 days, I was in the field.
Wow, that's incredible.
Fast.
Jim, correct me if I'm wrong. You said 5 months after you were drafted, you were on a plane to Vietnam, and then 2 weeks into Vietnam, you were on patrol in the field fighting the Vietcong?
Yeah, give or take a day. You had 2 weeks. You probably remember Ia Drang Valley. That's the first major battle that the military went through. The 1st and the 7th was over there. If you watch the movie, we were soldiers. That's Ia Drang Valley. That's when we lost so many men. So anyway, they went to Ia Drang Valley in the end of November. That's when the 1st and 7th, and that's when they walked into a big ambush with the NVA, and we lost so many soldiers. And so then when I got there, originally when I was at Camp Alpha, they put me in the Big Red 1, and about a day or two later, they switched us over. That's when we lost so many men. They switched me over to the 1st Cav Division. Mm-hmm. We went into Ia Drang Valley. We were the second wave to go into Ia Drang Valley when all the bodies and the things were still there.
Goodness, wow.
So I've seen action from versus the day I was in Vietnam until I was in the middle of fighting all the time back then.
The famous movie, We Were Soldiers, you saw the aftermath of that battle.
Right. In the movie, We Were Soldiers, because they had to stop the movie. It just said that all the Vietcong and all left. I mean, it showed how they were leaving. Well, that didn't happen. We did more or less defeat them to a certain degree, but there were still so many VC in the area. That's when we went back in with the 1st Cav.
Right.
And that's when they were trying to get all the bodies out of the helicopters and all. They were still there. All of our soldiers were still there.
A rare opportunity to get to talk to someone who not only served once in Vietnam, but twice in Vietnam. How long total did you serve in Vietnam?
Well, the first time with the Cav, it was somewhere around 14 to close to 16 months of my first tour. It was supposed to be a 12-month tour.
Wow.
But that then they didn't have replacements, so therefore you could not leave on your D-Rose date.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
And like I said, it's been so long. I know I was there about 16 months, the best I can recollect.
How long were you there the second time?
About 18, 19 months.
Goodness
gracious. When they sent me back from Vietnam, the first time I came back and they sent me to Germany. And once again, I didn't realize what was taking place. They sent me to Germany and sent to all these schools, demolition schools, sniper schools, all this stuff. So I said, what in the world are y'all doing all this? Why are y'all doing this to me, in my mind? About 14 months later, or whatever it was, they put me into a Special Forces group, the 8th Special Forces group.
Wow.
And I said, well, I don't know, I knew a little bit about the service. And I said, well, to start off with, you have to be air qualified, jump qualified. And I said, I'm not jump qualified. So they said, that is not a problem. They put us in a helicopter, gave us about a 30-minute briefing, and static lined me out. I had 3 jumps, and I was qualified. So that's how I ended up. That's how I ended up in the Special Forces.
Jim, you served 2 tours in Vietnam. Your second tour was way different than the first. Tell us a little bit more about that.
That time we lived in the jungle. So my second tour there, I lived with the Vietnamese. I was not with the American unit, had no support or anything like this.
Wow.
We built the compounds for the Vietnamese and showed them all how to do health stuff and how to have babies, how to take care of the teeth and the body. That's what the medic did. Of course, we cross-trained each other. We had like triangles, base camps for them. That's what we built for them and showed them how to display the weapons, how to set machine guns up, and how to do security and stuff like this. That's what I did.
Jim, Vietnam's a hard topic to talk about, but I have to ask, did you lose any friends over there that you'd like to talk about so their stories aren't forgotten?
We lost quite a few of them. For the last time, Richard Todd was his name. He was an E6 officer. Anyway, we were at one of our little locations, and we were going back that particular day to what we call our headquarters, which is up the road, of course, in the jungle. We had our own Jeeps and everything, so he was going to take a Jeep, and we were going up there together to probably get the mail or whatever. I don't know what we were doing. And anyway, for some reason, I did not go, and he hit a mortar.
Wow.
Mortar shell got him and killed him, blew the Jeep up, and I never did see him again. But I had a lot of friends over there that died. Soldiers would come out at night from the area where they were doing paperwork and stuff like that, and we'd put them on the green line at night. And of course, we had claymores we set up, and they would take the claymores. And this one particular time, some soldier took a claymore. We had big 55-gallon drums that we burned trash in, dropped his claymore in that drum. Sergeant Payne was standing there by, and of course, that thing blew up in a short period of time. He was a good soldier. He was an E7, E8. Just silly things like that, people trying to shortcut the military.
Jim, you're the recipient of not 1, not 2, but 3 Purple Hearts. Purple Heart is given to soldiers wounded in action or killed in action. You were wounded 3 times. Tell us a little bit about your Purple Hearts.
My first tour was, once again, we did not have big hospitals and all that. The first tour, the first thing that happened to me was we jumped out and we were walking, and I got a punji stake. Went through my ankle, on the ankle, yeah.
Wow, a punji stake, a Vietnamese booby trap, a pit with stakes sticking out. That must have hurt pretty bad.
It wasn't real bad. It was not life-threatening. So therefore, the field medic, what he did, best I can remember, he just kind of lanced it, opened it up, and poured whatever alcohol peroxide or whatever we had and put a bandage on it, and we moved forward. My commander at that particular time was Captain Fry, and his went all the way into his foot right above his instep, and we had to medevac him out. They couldn't get it out. Mine luckily did not go in. It just cut me real bad. Second time, of course, we were in battles every day just about. I got shrapnel in my left leg in the back. That once again, that was not life-threatening, so they once again just bandaged it up and poured alcohol or whatever they had in it and continued to march. It was pretty rough.
Let's talk about coming home. It's not a secret that the Vietnam War was very disliked by a lot of people. What was coming home like for you?
First tour, when I came back in through Travis Air Force Base that was up in California. And the best I can recollect, they gave us, or me, a T-shirt of some type, because we didn't have our clothes. We got out of the uniform, gave me T-shirts and probably a pair of blue jeans and tennis shoes, the best I can remember. And it seemed like they gave me a bus ticket to somewhere or something, and I once again can't remember it all. And then they put me on a plane and flew me back to South Carolina, back here. Yeah, the second time when I came back home, I came in throughout the different flights, and I ended up in Charleston. And of course, my family picked me up in Charleston. I just got off the plane and I did not see anything. That was back in 71. Mm-hmm. And I just walked through the terminal. Of course, my brother and my mother and father and all were there, and we just walked back and got in the car. And once again, there was probably some military people there. There were probably people protesting, but I was so nervous and glad to be home, I didn't see any of it. I was never involved in any of that stuff.
Jim, after you served 2 combat tours in Vietnam, you took a position as a combat instructor teaching new soldiers how to fight the war in Vietnam. Did you take that job extremely seriously, and did you have a passion for that, teaching these guys how to survive in the war that you came back from?
I took it very seriously. I really enjoyed it because now they had someone with my experience could tell them what they possibly could be going through.
Because you didn't have that.
I did not have that because the drill sergeants and myself, when I was at Fort Ord, the night before we were leaving to go up there, we all sat out there on the steps, and I'm not ashamed, we all cried. We were scared to death, and the drill sergeants were right there with us. They said, we don't know what else to tell you. We trained you the best we can, but we don't know how to tell you any details about where you're going. They just did not know what to tell us,
That's scary.
So, yes, to answer your question, I got a lot of fulfillment out of that, training people and knowing that I possibly could help save lives and stuff that I had been through. I was lucky to come back alive.
Jim, tell us a little bit about what you did when you left the military after so many years of service.
Yeah, when I got out, I came back home, and once again, I had no training. They had a ad in the newspaper for car salesmen. I didn't know it. So I went there and took the test. I went to work for a Chevrolet dealer, and I did that for quite a while. And I sold Chevrolets, I sold Cadillacs, and different things like this. I did that for about 5 or 6 years. And then I decided I wanted to open up my own club. I had a little bit of money saved up, so I opened up a big nightclub here in Columbia.
What was it called?
It was Shagaways out in West Columbia in Triangle City.
Wow, that is too cool.
That big 2-story house. And at that time, I had it set up. I had karaoke downstairs and with a full kitchen. And I had the upstairs. I had a band and all upstairs with pool tables and all. So I had that going pretty good. So I did that for a while, and then some Yahoo wanted to buy it out, so I sold it to him. And from there, I went into cutting grass. I love that. So I bought me 4 or 5 trailers and got me a couple of crews, and I worked for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac doing foreclosed houses. Just cutting the grass, cut and blow.
Kind
and
of a jack of all trades, master of none, huh?
That's exactly right. So after that, I said, heck with it. I got a couple of dollars in my pocket, so I retired.
Jim, you served 2 tours in Vietnam and then stayed in the military after the Vietnam War. What kept you in the military? What kept you going?
Well, it scared me to death. I was in for 2 years at that time, and I was fixing to get out. I was an E5 then, I think, an E5, Post Sergeant. I went down and took the postal test. With my experience and everything, for some reason I had an extra 10 points, I believe it was. So when I took the test, I did pretty good on the mail test, and plus I had an extra 10 points, so I went to the top of the list. And so I waited and waited. You had 3 months, you could go back into service at the time at your same rank. So about just before the 3 months was up, I said, God, I haven't heard anything from the post test. I got to have a job. So I went back down and re-enlisted. And I swear the next day, they came and knocked on my door, and there was a postal man there, and they had a job assignment for me to be a rural special delivery carrier. I missed out. I just swore myself back in the Army then. So that's how I stayed in the Army.
How long did you serve?
27 years.
27 years. What rank did you get out as?
I got out as a Sergeant First Class.
Thanks for joining us in our Soldier Salute, presented by Little Pig's Barbecue, serving Columbia since 1963 with that bodacious buffet. And Palmetto State Armory, American made for life. And Franklin Equipment, rent, buy, rely. And Atkins Law Firm Workers' Comp Attorneys, who you hire matters.